came east, we're going to come to north. Below the Mason Dixon line. Since this is a publication reading, I want to say a couple words about explaining why I identify this book with a decade as igneus as the 80s. This has turned out to be in retrospect. And there has to be some need on my part to work against the way America has of forgetting the amnesia that seems to be built into our culture. So I think the book was assembled in part with the belief that we need to have some kind of antidote to our official collective amnesia. Not that my book is that antidote, but I think we need that. I noticed recently in the New York, Los Angeles Times, a couple weeks ago, they referred to the Reagan years as the so-called pig years. Personally, I would drop the so-called qualification, and maybe that name will stick. And the way I look at the 80s in this book might become the norm. I'd be very happy if that were the case. But if the 90s continue with the recession or depression, whatever you call it, then I think that's inevitable. It will be so designated. The book also has a section of poems based on voices from the Appalachian coalfields, which I collected in my days as a social worker with the elderly. And so that's looking at the what still exists of an older period of American life. So I'll read a selection of poems from both sections of the book and then add a few from the last section. The title poem, The Day the 80s Began. It was the day before the day the Honorable A. James Manchin auctioned off his white Stetson on the courthouse steps in Fairmont. It was the day that clouds hung over the downtown like fluorescent lights in hospital waiting rooms. It was the day of placeholding in the lower bureaucracy. It was the day the word was made flesh in Washington, D.C. It was the day time cracked like an egg and the history of America started running backwards. It was the day the network scheduled reruns of the pre-war past for those who couldn't remember it. It was the day that money disappeared right out of working people's billfolds, pocketbooks, and savings accounts. It was the day the president winked and joked as he used 200 gold-tipped pens to sign the bill deregulating SNL. It was the day Lucas left his wife and daughter in the hills and drove to Atlanta to work 30 hours a week with no benefits at a fast food restaurant. It was the day Jane Lou glassworkers struck over loss of sick leave, and the miners rallied again in Pittsburgh. It was the day Vice President Bush flew to Panama for a secret meeting with General Manuel Noriega. It was the day the square of emotional opposition shifted from willful to dominant. It was the day the president had his hair dyed. And the Office of Management and Budget announced to school lunch programs that ketchup was a vegetable. It was the day the church across the street installed loudspeakers to replace the bells that daily tolled the noon hour. It was the day the Klan leafleted the Met Center parking lot with announcement of a meeting in Point Merida. It was the day the crazy woman painted herself green and stood naked at the intersection. It was the day Time Past and Time Future were both present in Time magazine. It was one of those days when things could be seen very clearly from a distance. Meditation on the inside lane. Leaving home at night for Kanawha County, West Virginia, the moon like a gray moth on the windshield, I pushed the pedals of the old car and listened to the past come back on the radio for those who can't remember. Amazed at how much has come back that we thought was past. Middle old, handcuffed to a moving vehicle, somewhere below Saltwell and Shinston, the road swings and moves under my eyes. What are old enemies doing now that the real runs backward? We'll know each other better when we meet again. Heading down fog lanes to the Capitol, the night's a single shelter. Sooner or later, someone has got to remember. This poem is based on the incident that happened in Denver, and the motel was referred to as one no longer exists, but the memories will never die. The Elvis Palace Airport Budget Motel. Turn off the interstate and double back to the last suburb at the end of Denver's sprawl. Drive carefully, the sign is down. Waitresses and truckers remember it for what it was. A celebration, a revival, a homecoming. A picture of the king still hangs above the registration desk. Tacky black and white wallpaper peels from the walls. The manager is still a hero. This is his first investment in America. He hustles for overflow airport traffic. His driver is a whiner who refuses to carry luggage. The king is gone. The imitators remain. The king's image is an emblem on underwear. The generation that remembers is older. Older, not yet old. There is still time. There is still hope. Somewhere in a house with black velvet paintings over the mantel, a mother teaches a child named Elvis to slick back his hair. Recycling American style. Montagnards find them all around their villages, shell casings, cluster bombs, tank and jeep scrap, and collect piles for the trucks to haul away. The government of Vietnam ships it to Japan, where it's reforged for Hondas, Toyotas, Nissans, and Subarus, sold in showrooms all across America.